Do you have a topic for today?
No, I thought your topics were good.
What the Toby? Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode 103 of Nintendo Talk. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by my best friend in all the land, Mr. Toby Thornton. What is up, Toby?
What is up, my Bobby?
How you doing, buddy? You all right?
I'm all right.
You seem a little low key today. I don't understand what the problem is.
You know what? I don't know what it is. I'm just tired. I think it's because this room's dark today.
It is dark today, man.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a storm coming.
Yeah, I could sense it. I could sense it.
Yeah.
You're kind of like you're living in the cloud right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Nobody really cares anyway. So,
Bobby, I'm in the United Kingdom. People care very dearly about the weather.
Oh yeah, because you guys have spectacular weather all the time.
It's just what we talk about over here.
Oh, it's a little less overcast today. Oh, there's one less cloud in the sky today. Please.
We talk about the humidity and, the clouds, like you say, and is it foggy? I can't quite tell. Maybe it's just the low clouds. Like,
That's ridiculous. Toby, let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our Geek Outs.
Geek Outs.
Oh, good God. What are you geeking out about there, Toby?
Amiibo, Bobby. Amiibo.
Oh boy, we're back. We're back.
I got a couple of Amiibo through. I got my Snake Amiibo.
So amazing.
I'm very,
gorgeous.
very happy with this one. He's such a cool, he's on his...
Yeah.
He's, what do you call it? What is that called?
Headset?
Where they No, it's like, he's comms, he's like intercom thing.
Yeah,
What's it called? It's got a name in the game. I'm blanking.
Yeah,
Anyway, great figure. Really,
nice.
really good.
Now, wait. Let me ask you a question. Is that still numbered?
Yeah.
Because in ours, now in the United States, ours has Japanese writing all over them.
What?
Yeah, we don't. They changed ours.
So they got rid of American packaging.
Well, it has American packaging too, but it's got Japanese too, which makes me think they're making them for both at the same time. But you guys still have the number in the corner of them?
Yeah, number 75, right?
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, man.
What else?
Then I got the Link's Awakening amiibo.
That's such a gorgeous amiibo.
So I got two of them.
Oh man, are you taking one out?
I am gonna. I can't decide which one though because they're different.
Why are they different?
I don't know if you can tell on camera, but one of them's shield is slightly further to the left, whereas the other one's more in front of him.
Oh yeah.
And the head position on one of them, he's looking slightly up. And on the other one, he's straightforward.
Don't take either of them out. Find out which one's the faulty one and put it on eBay.
Maybe, but I don't know. I like them both. So
nice. I got all the amiibo as well. I also got the other two, Squirtle and Ivysaur.
See, if I could afford it, I'd get them. But
you've backed off the whole amiibo thing.
Yeah,
you're not as, and man. I just can't. I don't know why. I can't.
That's not all you can't, Bobby. I've seen that picture you posted on Facebook.
What? I got myself. This is my geek out. Got myself a Switch Lite. I got the yellow Switch Lite. Pretty spectacular. I'm going to open it today. I want to do a video on it where a couple things I do. I want to do a video about putting a screen protector on it. I want to do a video comparison to the original Switch. I want to do another video where I break it down, making this my primary Switch and that my home Switch, so that way I can utilize the same account on two of them. So I got that. I'm really excited about that. But then I also picked up the gray Switch Lite as well, and this is a really, really nice shade of gray, and then the turquoise one as well. So I got all three colors. And so
And you have the Pokemon one pre-ordered, don't you?
I do have the Pokemon one.
You do.
I do. I had that one pre-ordered. I did get this little gem as well. Came in from Amazon yesterday. It's the Dreamers Edition, which is the collector's edition in the United States. We just didn't get the Steelbook.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Best Buy will be selling the Steelbook probably in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But I got this. This came from Amazon yesterday. And then this is... I also picked up... There's two things I didn't want to bring everything in because I just had the room on my desk. I picked up a Super Famicom, a Japanese Super Famicom.
Nice.
Picked up a Nintendo or a Famicom disk system, which was the old school thing that hooked to the Famicom and they could have like better games. Got Metroid for the disk system.
Oh, wow.
And then I picked up this bad boy. The original Legend of Zelda Japanese edition, complete in box for the Famicom.
That looks mint as well, doesn't it?
Dude, it's really, really good shape. Like, it is fantastic. It is
very cool.
So cool.
Very cool.
Like it says, family computer on the side for the Famicom. Really, really nice, man. It's gorgeous. I love it. So, I'm geeking out about a lot of stuff. But, man, let me explain the Switch Lights, okay? Because I don't want people to think like...
Yeah, explain yourself, Bobby.
I wanted all three, all right? And then I thought about it because they put some time between when they announced it to when they put up the pre-orders. If they would have put the pre-orders up day 2, I would have gotten all... Where are you going? Okay.
Put my light on.
Well, why are you just...
Nothing's happening,
It's
Bobby.
too
Carry
late
on.
now. I can't. You like walked out of the screen. I'm like, where's he going? Like he's leaving
Carry
the
on.
show. Okay. So anyway, they put some distance between it. So I was like, in that time and thinking, I was like, I don't need all three. What am I doing here? This is stupid. So I was like, I'm going to buy the yellow because I like the yellow. And I'm going to buy the Pokemon one because I like that one. That one's really cool looking. And that'll be the two I get, and that's it. I'm good. Then as we got closer, I blame Joey Splats, because Joey Splats actually sent a tweet out the other day. It was like, hey, are you guys excited to see Bobby open all three of his... And I'm
dear.
I'm like, oh, this son of a gun. I'm like, Joey, I didn't get all three. I just got one. And he was like, oh, man, like, I kind of let him down. And then other people were saying stuff. So yesterday, Miguel and I went to GameStop.
Yeah.
And GameStop was offering a deal that if you traded in an iPad Pro towards the purchase of a Nintendo Switch, they would give you $300 cash back or credit towards that. So I had an iPad Pro that I haven't used it in easily 2 years now, just sitting there.
Yeah.
It's an older generation, whatever. And so I'm like, okay. So Miguel is an elite member of GameStop. So he got an additional 20% off on the trade-in.
Ah, okay.
So I only paid $60 for to get
All right,
extra
makes
two.
sense.
So for $60, I couldn't. I was like, oh, what am I, a madman? Like, I got it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm already a madman, but the price.
You made the right
cost,
choice.
Yeah, the cost was well worth it. You know, I mean, ultimately, it's stupid because they're just going to sit on my shelf. But I also have it, like, right there is a 3DS that I've never opened. Or, the Metroid one. And then I have this Japanese 2DS of Animal Crossing that I have. So, like, I'm a collector. I collect these things. I like them. I like having them on my shelves. So it is what it is. You know, it's just whatever. So, but man, I posted something in the Discord that I would like people to, if they are curious about how this all works with the additional Switch. Brian Altano posted something in MVC where he broke it down and explained how you set up the one as a primary and the other one as another one, and then you can actually use the same account across the board. So I'm going to do that today. Open the yellow one, use that as my primary, and then my big Switch will be the home one, and then I'll basically be able to play that one on the go, which I feel like it's a better handheld. I feel like it's a better reason to take, you know what I mean? Like, it's better on the go than the original one is.
Well, yeah, it's designed for that sole purpose.
Yeah,
So,
So, we'll see. And plus, the other thing, too, is it dawned on me the other day. I was like, this will be better for, I mean, the screen will look better. The graphics will look better on it. Because if it's running in 720 and they shrink the screen it'll look tighter and everything will just look a lot better. Ultimately.
Yeah.
So, another thing I want to do real quickly before we jump in, I started doing Nintendo Talk Live on Wednesdays. So if you're watching this or whatever, this goes up Monday. This Wednesday I have Patrick from Nintendo Talk. He's coming on, and he's going to give his top 5 games, NES game or Nintendo games of all time. We just had Nick Militia this week. Did you watch that episode with Nick?
No.
Are you going to? Because that's one you were really, I thought you were excited about.
I am excited.
Okay. That's your like real low key. That's good to know. Okay. Anyway, so I felt like I wanted to bring back Nintendo Talk Live, and it will give us people that listened. I just want to explain the feeds one more time. If you just want Toby and I, you just stay subscribed to that feed that you have us on. But there is a Nintendo Talk Live feed as well, and that is Toby and I plus everybody else. So you can pick whichever one you want and whatever you have time for. But the ones with everybody else is kind of like special episodes where we'll still do Geek Outs, we'll still do all that other stuff. It'll just be minus Toby. So you'll miss the British accent. Might actually be better shows, honestly.
Oh, that's mean.
Okay, Toby. So someone was supposed to bring a topic. They didn't. Whatever. So I came with 2 topics because that's what I did.
That's the reason I didn't bring a topic. Because Bob was like, I've already got 2 topics. So I was like, we generally have 2 topics. I don't need to bring a topic.
No, I said, I have 2 topics. Bring yours as well.
All right, I didn't read it properly.
Well,
all right? In my head, it was bring a topic if you like, but I've got 2 ready anyway.
That's not what I said. I said, I want your topic as well, but here are 2 topics that I have. Just saying. You're bringing as always, you're bringing the show down. You're bringing the quality of the show
down. Isn't that my MO?
I think it is. I think that's what you purposely go out to do.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so which one do you want to talk about first? The 2 topics that we have.
Let's do it in order, Bobby.
What's the order? I didn't know there was an order.
The Oceanhorn 2 topics.
Okay. So this week, what was it? FDG Games?
Entertainment.
FTG Entertainment. They came out and they announced that Oceanhorn 2 is exclusive. I don't know whether it's timed exclusive or not. It's launching on Apple Games or whatever that service is that Apple has.
Yeah.
And essentially, it's going to be a free game if you have Apple Games or whatever, it'll be free. And that's like a $5 a month service or something that they have. So, but in a nutshell, what my question to you was, are you upset that this isn't coming to the Nintendo Switch? Like, what's your feeling when you hear this game coming to Apple first?
So, well, the thing is, I expected it to be mobile first because the original Oceanhorn was a mobile game to begin with. It was on tablets and phones. Then they ported it to PC, and then a little while after that, it came to PS4 and Xbox and everything. So eventually, I think that the same thing's going to happen with Oceanhorn 2. I feel like they're launching it on phones and tablets, then it's going to be PC and then console after. I think that's just their priority. I'm a little bit upset that it could be like another year, like a timed exclusive for a year. That's a bummer because I was really looking forward to it. Still am looking forward to it, but I've been following the development of it for a while now, and it's really shaping up to be what looks to be a more fully fledged action adventure game, like much more Ocarina of Time inspired than the top-down Zeldas. But yeah, like I was doing a bit of Googling and I came across a Nintendo Life article, and they were talking about the creative director from Corn Fox and Bros, which is I think that's the developer, and I think FDG is the publisher.
Yes.
But anyway, in this article, he says Oceanhorn was first released on mobile hardware, so it was a very flexible game to port for mobile-based Nintendo Switch. I see a bright future for Nintendo Switch as it offers support for Unreal Engine 4. for example, and we are currently spearheading the mobile development on Unreal Engine 4 with Oceanhorn 2. Then he goes on to say that basically they're developing mobile first, and it helps Oceanhorn 2. It says Oceanhorn 2 is going to look great on Switch when the time comes. So I feel like that's kind of confirmation that it will eventually end up on Switch. We just don't know when.
I tweeted out to FDG this week and was like, "Oh man, I really wish this was coming to Switch. Hopefully, it makes its way to Switch." They liked the comment, but they didn't say anything because obviously, they don't have anything to say at this time. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to. You don't want to destroy the sales or whatever of a game that's already coming out by announcing it's going to be for someplace else, because here's the thing. I guarantee you most people don't want to play this game in mobile. They want to play it on the Switch or PS4 or Xbox One. They want, this is a console type game or a PC. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Most don't want to play on their phones or their tablets or anything like that. That being said, if they come out and they say, like, hey, man, 6 months from now it's going to be on Switch, odds are a lot of people aren't going to play it on Apple. You know what I mean? And that basically then messes up the deal with Apple, and then they have problems. I feel like, and my feeling is that it is, it's definitely a wait for, and I'm torn a little bit. You were a bigger fan of Oceanhorn 1 than I was.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a good game, but there were some lacking things with it.
Yeah.
I felt like the dungeons were super easy. It just wasn't, and the puzzles weren't that good. So I felt like it was a little bit lacking. But I felt like, hey, it's a first effort. It's a top-down Zelda. This is kind of cool. We both played on PS4 when it came out.
Yep.
And I didn't get it on Switch. A lot of people got it on Switch, and they were loving it on Switch. Yeah. I never double-dipped on that game because I just wasn't a fan. This one, when I look at it, it feels a lot like Breath of the Wild. It gives me that types of vibes, mainly because the look of the characters are a little bit more like that.
It's very anime, bright graphics.
Yeah.
I mean, they're more human proportioned. Like, they were a little bit chibi and squished in the first one. Yes. And this one, they've stretched them out a bit. Yeah. So, but I also feel like it's probably like a Twilight Princess type game, but like art style wise, I feel like it leans a little bit more towards Breath of the Wild than not. This is a prequel to the Oceanhorn that we played on PS4 or those played on Switch. So I'm excited for it. When I played it or when I look at it and stuff, I go like, this is in my wheelhouse. This is something I definitely want to get. This is something I want to play. I want to enjoy. So I think it could be something good for us. Yeah, it feels a little bit like a little bit of a kick in the teeth in a way, because clearly these games are Zelda inspired. They probably, when they first started developing Oceanhorn, they were probably like, this was never going to end up on a Nintendo platform. We're independent developers. Yeah. This was like years ago. So, and when Oceanhorn did come to Switch, they said, oh, this is the definitive way to play Oceanhorn. It's based on the remastered PC version, but you can play it on the go. It's the best experience. And I bet they probably sold more copies on Switch than anywhere else.
Probably.
And it feels like it's at home on a Nintendo platform. And you would expect that to be the lead platform for Oceanhorn 2. Yeah. But for some reason, they're sticking with mobile.
So, a little behind the curtains, more or less, because what I do on my part-time job. Sometimes these small developers, they have to do what's good for the company in terms to get some cash influx. Guarantee you, going to work with Apple guaranteed them money. It's basically free money.
If they sign a deal, then yeah.
Yeah. So I think in those terms of like, hey, we'll give you this game for free. You'll play it. You'll put it on your platform. And there has to be something that comes back, and meaning revenue. This game has been in the works for a few years now. This isn't this game's been in the works since before the first one hit Switch.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's hard to go 2 years with no money coming in.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure they're still making money off Oceanhorn on Switch and PS4, but it's a trickle down. It's not what it was when the game first launched, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what it did on Switch. I don't know what it did on PS4 or any of that. You know what I mean? So when you look at it in those perspectives, yes, I would love it to be on Switch first. Yes, I think it would be, you know, it would do better on Switch than anywhere else. But when you're sitting in that seat and you're like, man, we're taking a risk by putting it on Switch first when we have guaranteed money over here, what do you go with? And you would like to think that people aren't making decisions like this based on money, but at the end of the day, if we want an Oceanhorn 3, if they want to make an Oceanhorn 3, or they want to make any other game, they have to go where the money is. And I get it. Doesn't mean I'm 100% happy about it as a fan, but as a logical, reasonable thinking human being, it makes a lot of sense to me. And so I'm
here we go. Listen to this, right? If this was a tweet by FDG Entertainment back in 2017, we can also confirm, Switch being a great home for indies, Oceanhorn sold more copies on Switch than all other consoles combined.
Wow.
And that was to September 2017, when the game must have only been out a few months. So
it's pretty impressive.
It is
impressive.
But like you say, like, these exclusivity deals are a bit iffy. You'd never know how much money's changing hands there. Yeah. And like you say, it is like a guaranteed cash influx.
Yeah.
And they know that when it comes to consoles, they're probably going to get that again when it comes to Switch. Like, they're going to get that bump. People double dip in, and you know, it's probably the best business strategy, really.
I mean, ultimately, like, if Oceanhorn 2 sells like gangbusters, right? And they get a big influx of money where they can actually, you know, hire more people, not take as much time to develop a game, have more money in the bank, then it makes sense, you know what I mean? It makes sense that the next game might be like, okay, this is going to start on Switch or wherever Nintendo console is. This will start here and boom. Because at that point, you kind of have a legitimate franchise. You know, you look at, not every game is a Shovel Knight, where Shovel Knight comes out and, like, literally they don't do anything for 4 or 5 years because they have so much money that they made. Just off a Kickstarter alone. And then every time they sold that game, it sold like gangbusters everywhere it went. It's a little different animal, you know what I mean? So would you be interested, like, in them continuing the series, like, you know, almost like you had this SteamWorld universe of games, and they keep putting out different SteamWorld games, but they have different genres. So, like, if they continued the Oceanhorn as a series, if Oceanhorn 2 takes off as well, since they've gone from like top-down Zelda to traditional 3D Zelda. And if that sells well, do you think you would like to see them go open world Breath of the Wild Zelda, or take Oceanhorn in a different genre, perhaps? I mean, I don't think that this game lends itself to a SteamWorld type thing. SteamWorld just works. I don't know why. It just works. And I think some of that is based upon the fact of, you know, when you're building this game in SteamWorld, it's basically an era, you know? So they're able to just continue off of this and keep going. I could see them saying Oceanhorn is essentially like this Zelda-type game, and that's what we're going to do from here on out, and that's the way we keep moving forward. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them taking a genre that is Zelda and just making it better and perfecting it and all that stuff. But I would also like to see, if this game does really well, I would like to see them take a break from it and go make something else. And then come back to this. And that's the only aspect I would like to see them take from Image and Form, is go off, make something else, come back to this, and go.
Do you feel like they're gonna scratch that Zelda itch that currently isn't being fulfilled?
I mean, what
Yeah, because like we've got Breath of the Wild 2 coming, but that's another open world new style Zelda. You've got traditional Link's Awakening, which is top down, but that traditional 3D Zelda is not there anymore. That's old.
To be fair, we don't know what Breath of the Wild 2 is going to do.
Yeah.
Are you talking like a lineal type Zelda?
Slightly, like, I mean, like Oceanhorn was still a little bit non-linear. Like you could go to different islands, and I think Oceanhorn 2 is going to be a little bit like that as well. It's not going to be a complete straight path, but I still think the picking up items inside of dungeons and using those to complete puzzles in the dungeon, which accesses new parts of the overworld, like that's what I kind of mean about traditional Zelda style.
We don't know that this isn't going to happen with Breath of the Wild 2. You know
we
don't.
don't.
Like ultimately, I think that was a big thing that a lot of people that had an issue with Breath of the Wild, that was their biggest gripe.
Yeah.
Was not traditional dungeons, not traditional weapons, like not, they didn't, and I don't think that Nintendo will continue down that path. They may with Breath of the Wild 2. Don't get me wrong. But I think that like when they do step away from Breath of the Wild, I think they might go back. But something, man, I will say this. The lineal stuff really turned a lot of people off. It got to the point where it became very hand-holdy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really don't want to go back to that ever again, unless you're doing a top-down. If you're doing a top-down Zelda, and that's very lineal, and that's what it is, that's fine. But even, like, when you played Link Between Worlds, like, that wasn't hand-holdy, that wasn't very lineal, you could go anywhere.
I think they could do a traditional-style Zelda that isn't as hand-holdy, because it only got worse over time. Like, Ocarina of Time was much less, even with Navi, I think it was still much less hand-holdy than it eventually ended up in Skyward Sword. Like, Skyward Sword was beating you over the head constantly about, here's how you solve this puzzle, here's where you should go next, and have you thought about doing this? Constantly. And I think that they could go back to a more traditional style Zelda, but just rein that in a bit. I think that a lot.
A lot. Because
but yeah, anyway.
I mean, every single Zelda game that was in the 3D realm was very hand-holdy. Very, you got to go this way, you got to do that. Wind Waker was probably the first one that wasn't, per se. But, like, Skyward Sword was the absolute most atrocious thing ever when it comes to that.
Actually, Wind Waker's interesting because you don't have a constant companion in that, do you? You have the king. You got the King of Red Lions, and you have the necklace where he can contact you. But other than that, it's like you're a bit more on your own, aren't you? Because
I mean, he doesn't tell you can't go here or there.
Yeah,
he's just kind of like directing the ship. You know what I mean? He doesn't go like, "Whoa, we can't go this direction." You know what I mean? He's just like, "Oh, you want to go that way? Okay, we'll go that way." Yeah. He's very, like, hands-off, perspective. And that's what I liked about Wind Waker so much. I hate, it pulled me so out of Skyward Sword. When Faye kept, like, popping out of my backpack and being like, no, you can't go left, you gotta go this way. It's like, man, just shut up. Like, let me go.
It was so annoying, wasn't it? You walked into a room and there was, like, an unlit torch and a lit torch. And before you can put two and two together, she'll pop out and go, there's a 97% probability you should light this torch. And you're like, just give me a chance.
Yeah. It was a bit out of control. It was a bit much. I think the storyline in Skyward Sword is one that we've never seen. Sadly, I never got to watch the whole thing. I might just go watch the cutscenes because maybe I'll give it a shot again. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot again. But
when they remaster it.
Yeah, make it where I don't have to use motion controls. But they'll probably make it where I have to use motion controls, so I might as well just go back and play it, but whatever. I guess we'll see, ultimately, what it is. I just would prefer that Oceanhorn just does its own thing.
I mean, to be honest, dude, like, how many people have even heard of Oceanhorn 2? Like, I know Oceanhorn 1 was, like, it was a bit niche, but I think it was one of the slightly more successful indie games. But I don't feel like there's a huge buzz about Oceanhorn 2. Like, I feel like me and you are like some of the only people that know about it, like weirdly. So I don't really know how much it being exclusive for a year or however long it might be. Like, I don't know how much that really matters at the end of the day.
I agree with you there. Okay, so our second topic is I wanted to discuss our first impressions of Link's Awakening. You and I are both very big Zelda fans. Both of our favorite Zelda games of all time is Link to the Past. That's our number one game of all time. I believe you're probably in the same boat as I am, as Breath of the Wild did close the gap, but it just wasn't enough to push over to overtake it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And where a lot of people will say, like, oh no, Breath of the Wild is the greatest of all time. And no, it's a great game, but it's just not the best of all time. I think Link to the Past is. Now, Link's Awakening is kind of a sequel to Link to the Past, where it basically takes place after Link to the Past, where Link goes off to do training missions alone. And then on his trip back to Hyrule, there's a bad storm come up, his boat gets hit by lightning, and he gets knocked out. That's as far as we'll talk about it, because I don't want to do spoilers.
I was going to say, like, how are we doing any sort of spoilers?
No.
Like, no story spoilers whatsoever?
No.
What about dungeon spoilers, like gameplay spoilers? I mean,
we can stay spoiler off. We can stay off all that
I just
stuff.
don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about the game.
Well, I haven't beat the game ever, so back off. Slow it down.
How deep are you into the game? Like, what dungeon?
Okay, so I've just literally, before I did If We Ran Nintendo an hour ago, I just took down the third dungeon.
Okay,
so
you're a little bit slightly behind me. I think we're roughly about the same. Though.
Yeah, I just got the bell. Yeah. So anything before then we could talk about. We could be fine with and whatever. I think a lot of people are probably at that point now. By this point, if you've been playing it pretty steadily.
I mean, I've only been playing it maybe 3 hours or so. I mean, it's not very long game in the grand scheme of things when you know it.
It's not long, but it's very difficult. I want to say, like, the puzzles are harder.
Yeah, I'd say it's a more obtuse Zelda game. Like, say, hands off. Like, there's no real hint. Like, after you finish the dungeon, they give you a hint about where to go next, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's like you're on your own. Like, figure it out yourself, which I love. And there's something that I've got a love-hate relationship with the Switch version.
Okay.
Because I love the Game Boy version.
Let's talk about that first. Let's talk about the differences between the two.
Yeah.
What you loved about the original, what you love about this one, what you don't like about this one compared.
I mean,
let's have that discussion first.
All right, so I'm getting over the blur effect, the tilt shift blur. Like, that's new to the Switch version. Mm-hmm. When you're in the overworld, top and bottom of the screen, real blurry.
Yeah.
And when I watched the trailers and the preview footage, I was not a fan of that. I even asked Game Explain a question about can you remove it, like in the options, and they were like no, because they did a video about it. But so I thought, all right, just got to live with it, and I am getting used to it. It's not as bad as I thought. However, the frame rate issues are way worse than I thought they would be.
You really think so?
Yeah, because I notice it every single time. Like, when you're in the overworld, you leave a building and it loads, there's stuttering, and when you're loading new areas in the overworld, you can tell when it goes from 60 frames to 30 frames. And it is so weird that it makes me feel motion sick.
Really?
Yeah, there's been a few times playing it that I've had to like turn it off for a bit because it's making me feel ill.
I've never had that yet. And I'm the type of guy that can't play first person shooters because I get nauseous. Hasn't bothered me at all.
It's just weird. Like, I'm really upset about it because Nintendo games shouldn't be like this. Like, Zelda should not have frame rate issues.
Well,
all right, Breath of the Wild had some because that was ambitious. That was large open world. They've never done it before. It's on a tablet console.
They also fixed it though. They fixed it.
Mostly fix it. This is a top-down Zelda. It's not that graphically intense, and it's an old game. It's not like they had to design the game from scratch. They had plenty of time to get this technical issue sorted, and Nintendo put it out with terrible frame rate issues. It blows my mind. Like,
I think, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm off base. I feel like you're being a little overcritical on it. It has not. I've had 3 instances that I've played it where I've noticed it slow down, and then it's right back up. It's not like it's a long period of time. It's a quick blip, and that's all I've felt it to be. Now, I don't know where your areas are happening compared to my areas.
Just all over the overworld.
I don't have it like that.
From one area to the next.
Yeah.
I just notice it all the time.
I'm not noticing it that much, and maybe that's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, and not that this is an excuse or whatever, but like, I'm also from a different era of gaming, meaning like, dude, go play the original Zelda. You went to a slowdown. Like, that thing would crawl until you killed an enemy, and then it would ramp back up and start moving again. Even does it now. Even Metroid, like, that's the way it is. Not that that's an excuse at all. Like, that's that. I don't feel like these frame rate issues are that bad in comparison to anything else. I think it's also something that they could fix. It could be something.
It is. You know what? It almost makes me feel like I don't want to play it until they fix it.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm playing it. I'm not stopping.
I'm going to keep playing it, because when you're in a dungeon, it's great. 60 frames, solid.
Yeah.
But it's just when you go outside, it's just awful. I mean, it just annoys me because it's the same game. Like, tile for tile, the way he moves, like, it's the same game as the Game Boy one. It just runs worse. Like,
yeah, but you
it doesn't
also
make any sense.
Well, it does make a little sense to some degree. It's not the same game. Like, I'm guarantee you, if they put that game on the Switch, there'd be 0 issues.
That's what I mean, though. Like, I'm having the same experience. It's just graphics are better now.
Yeah.
I know there's quality of life things with the buttons and everything. Yeah. That's something else we can talk about. But in terms of the game itself, the game design, the game world, it's the same game as the Game Boy one. And I'd expect it to just be higher quality, really.
Okay, so on my perspective, we firmly disagree on this aspect. On my perspective, I'm loving it. I love aesthetically how it looks. The blur, I don't mind, because I believe, without going spoilerish, because I really don't know the ending of this game, but I believe it has something to do with the ultimate scheme of things, and there's a reason behind the blur. I also believe that there's another reason behind the blur, meaning you can, in this one, the difference between this one and the previous one was the other one was strictly tactile. Like, you go to the page, you flop over. This one, you'll kind of work into a second frame, but never feel like you've moved that way.
Yeah. So,
and then when you go back, everything's readjusted again. It's like, wait a minute, I just took all them bushes out. Why are they all back in? And it's because, in theory, you've moved to the next tile. They just haven't made you move to the next tile.
Yeah, that's right. So I think, in terms of that is better than the original, not having to move screen by screen every time. Yeah. Other improvements over the original, you've got the menu system. It's way cleaner. It looks way better.
Yeah.
You can... Certain items get linked to specific buttons, and they're constantly there. You don't have to, because normally you would have had to go into your menu and equip that item, but now it's linked to the shoulder buttons.
Because you had 2 buttons on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
So, like, an example is, in order to use the shield, which you have to use a lot in this game, you have to put one item as a shield, the other item is your sword.
Yeah.
This now, you're going like, hey, I can put the feather, as I can have the jump, and a bomb. My shield is always where my shield is. My dash is always with my dash.
And your sword is always equipped as well.
Yes. Yeah. So it's they're basically, essentially, and that was the difficulty of Link's Awakening back in the day. That's why the difficulty ramps way up in that game, because you have to be able to process the menu and flip between different things. Where this one, you're really not thinking about it. You have your 2 key items, and you just go with the rest.
They've streamlined that a lot, and I think they've adjusted, because of the shield is now always on the shoulder button,
Yeah.
they've adjusted some of the enemies so now that they require the shield to be able to take them out.
Yes.
Which I thought, when I first started playing it, I was like, oh, this one of these first enemies, like, yeah, that's kind of a unique gimmick. But then the more enemy types you encounter later on, they also need the shield to take them out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just one enemy. Like,
Yeah.
they've sort of changed a lot of different enemies. So it is more strategic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I think that they've made the combat more engaging this time. So that's a nice improvement over the original. Yeah.
I will say one thing that I don't like, and this is very nitpicky, is I can't use the D-pad. That threw me off. Like, I immediately was trying to do the D-pad. I'm like, why isn't he moving? But when you use the analog stick, he doesn't move analog-wise. He moves like the D-pad.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, why can't I just use the D-pad?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, that's just a very nitpick thing for me.
Yeah. There was a thing, I was in a dungeon looking at the dungeon map, and that's the only time you get to use a D-pad is to scroll through the floors on the dungeon map.
Okay.
So, because, like, I was like, what is the D-pad for? Like, but that's the only thing I found so far that it's for. So, but yeah, like, in terms of the game itself, like the design of it, I feel like it is kind of linear, but there's lots to do in the overworld, and you can take a break from the main quest, and there's little side quests you can do, characters you can interact with, mini games, and I find that exploring the overworld and blowing holes in walls and stuff, like, that's a nice distraction. When you beat a dungeon and you've got a new item, then you can just take your time and explore the overworld a bit and see where you can go now, where you couldn't go before. And that whole thing, like, that's just really satisfying, that gameplay loop of do a dungeon and then explore the world and do another dungeon and then explore the world again. And I really like that about this game.
What I realized very quickly that I totally forgot is I didn't realize how many cameos are in this game. Like, you know, it's very Nintendo-esque. And this game makes me feel very much like I'm playing a Mario game to some degree.
Yeah.
Again, the reasoning has a lot to do with spoilers, and I don't want to get into that. But it's, you know, when you're doing the side-scrolling stuff, it's so cool. Like, that's the thing for me. Like, I can't stop looking at it and going, this thing is adorably awesome. And I don't know whether or not, maybe that's why I'm not getting pulled away from the other stuff. Like, I'm just looking at it going like, my God, this game looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think for you, it's a bit fresher than it is for me, because I played the original quite a lot, and I played it when it came to 3DS.
Yeah, I didn't play any of that stuff. I just stayed away from it. Because it's not one of my favorite games. It's not. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just not, it's not one of my favorite. You know, I've gotten as far as the final dungeon and never beat it. And, you know, just because it's tough, man. It's tough. So, but I feel like with this one, it might be where I don't get as frustrated, and I could probably beat it now. And because I felt like I wasn't dying before, or I wasn't not able to beat it before, not because of my lack of skills, more because I felt like it was just cheap nonsense. Meaning you had to change all the stuff, and like when I looked at, and it's understandable because when you play Link to the Past, you have the additional buttons, so you don't have to worry about all this stuff. And it was like, man, I feel like I'm stepping backwards, taking Link to the Past, but giving me NES controls, and it was so frustrating. You know what I mean? And that's essentially what it was. I don't know if you know this. There's a story behind this. I think it's on. Did you know?
Did you know gaming? Yeah, they got a few videos on the history of this game.
And when they talk about, one of the things they talk about is how this game got created.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ideas that are in this game were presented to Miyamoto during Link to the Past. And Miyamoto was like, no. Meaning the equipping of things. Like, there's a part, I guess, I'm not at it yet, but it'll happen, where you can attach an arrow with a bomb.
Yeah.
And then shoot bomb arrows, right?
Yeah.
Miyamoto took that out of Link's Link to the Past. He didn't want to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And then what happened was when they got done this game, when they got done Link to the Past, the team got tapped to go make a Game Boy game, a Zelda Game Boy game. But Miyamoto was off making games for the Super Nintendo, and they kind of viewed the Game Boy as the lesser of what Nintendo was doing. It was something new. It's whatever. If you go have fun, go play, go have fun. They were actually able to slip a lot of stuff in, thinking that Miyamoto would stop them, and they were like, let's just cram it with everything we can, and then when he catches us, he'll pull a couple of things out, and maybe we'll be able to keep the core of what we want. He never even really looked at it, and they got it pushed all through.
It's funny, yeah. I think that they said that he looked at it in the testing phases near the end of development.
Yeah.
And I think he was quite happy with it.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to hear that story told out, because one, I don't think a lot of people realize how, like, a lot of the newer generation, they hear Miyamoto's name, but they don't realize all he was doing back then. This guy was directing multiple games at once.
Yeah.
And he was doing Mario and Zelda and Star Fox and all these different games all at once. So it's kind of cool to see, like, here he is now, and they had to actually get another. He had a separate team working on the Game Boy one. Okay, so let me ask you this. This is something that's been coming up a little bit that I've been reading on the internet, and I'm just curious what you think, and it's being brought up quite a bit.
Yeah.
The style, right? Nintendo typically with Zelda games don't keep styles for long.
Yeah.
If they kept this style as a top-down remaster style, at least for a couple of games, let's just say that they're going to remake 2 games in this style, and that means we'll get them quicker. We'll get them over the next 2 years.
Okay.
What 2 Zelda games do you want this style attached to that you would like to replay or whatever?
I think the only way I would like them to reuse this style is on the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons games.
Okay.
Because they use the same art style anyway as the original Game Boy one. And I feel like that because that fact, like, that would work being in the same universe and the same style of gameplay and everything. I do not want to see them use this art style for a Link to the Past remake. I don't want to see it on a Minish Cap or anything. Like you say, it's kind of dreamy. Like, it's kind of like weird with the blur effect and that. I think that they should just stick this art style to this game and the Oracle games. Like, I don't know. I like it, but I don't like it that much to move forward with it.
See, when I first saw it, right, I thought, it's a little too chibi. It's whatever. You know what I mean? The more I see it, the more I'm falling in love with it.
Yeah.
And for me, the Oracle Seasons, Oracle Ages, I'm hearing that a lot. And okay, fine. I never played those games. So I would like to do that again. Like, go back and play those games in this style. Because what I feel is, with this style, we get them cranked out quicker. And we actually get them. I would like both games packaged in, so we get them both.
Yeah, I tell you what, they would have to do that, Oracle and Ages in the same game, because those games aren't anywhere near as good as Link's Awakening. So it's like, if they did them individually, like, people would be annoyed. It's like, you just have to do a double pack.
Yeah. The one game that I really want them to do this for, and to go back and do it in, is the original Legend of Zelda, the NES version. Because I feel like that one, it's a good game, it's a solid game, but it needs a refresh.
You know, I would be down for that. Yeah. Like, because I don't like the original Zelda that much. Yeah. Like, if they updated it, and they would have to, like, update a little bit of the way he moves in the game and the way the enemies move, like, make it smoother and everything. Because, like you say, there are frame rate issues and stuff. Like, yeah, if they could make it run solid 60 frames, that art style, then that's good. But don't want to take the identity of these games away from themselves, because if you have too many games that have the same art style, you start looking at screenshots and go, what game is that from? Like,
well, yeah,
they should remain unique.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't want this to Link to the Past at all.
Yeah.
I feel like Link to the Past, it's just timeless. You could leave it alone and it could get away with it. The only thing I would like to see maybe done to Link to the Past is maybe a refresh with the palette, the color palette.
Yeah.
Maybe make some things more vibrant. And then dull down some more stuff where you get into areas. Like when you go to the Lost Forest or the Lost Woods, make it a little bit more dingy and dark. And then that opening scene during the thunderstorm, make that more dingy and dark. When you're in the dungeons, make those darker. But then when you're out in Hyrule, make it more bright and vibrant and stuff. Like, I don't feel like you really need to do a whole lot with that game. Like, when they did Link Between Worlds, right? So, for those who don't know, originally Link Between Worlds was supposed to be a remake of Link to the Past for the 3DS. And then Aonuma was just like, no. Let's just make a separate game, like, as they started getting in. The map is still pretty identical to what the other one was. And the premise of the back and forth between the worlds, pretty much the same as the original one. But I wasn't really a true big fan of that style, that art style. Like, it worked, it did the job, it did what it did, but I would have been really upset if that was my Link to the Past remake. Like, I just don't like that. I like this art style better, but even so, I don't want this art style attached to Link to the Past.
So, do you think, because Grezzo made this with a little bit of oversight from Nintendo, do you think the Link Between Worlds team is working on a new top-down Zelda, like from Nintendo themselves?
I do feel like the Nintendo is working on something additional. Because we've said it numerous. Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
When we look at the grand scheme of what Nintendo's doing right now, we know that Monolith Soft is helping with Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
They also help with a lot of Breath of the Wild 1 towards the end. They finished Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and then a good portion of the team moved over to that. So that's basically what that team does. They help the A team work on Breath of the Wild. The B team, for lack of a better term, has always worked on the 3DS games. Grezzo did a lot of the remasters.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to get a true top-down Zelda that is just standalone, totally different new adventure. I feel like that's in the works.
Yeah, I really hope so, man.
And then I feel like Grezzo is probably working on the next HD game. You know, the next HD remaster. Because that's what Grezzo really does.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of remasters, a lot of remakes for it. They did Ocarina, and they did Majora's Mask on the 3DS.
Yeah.
They did their own game. What was that one game? What was that game called?
Oh, yeah.
Which was kind of Zelda-esque, you know?
Yeah.
It was kind of Fantasy Life and Zelda-esque in theory. And then they did this one.
Ever Oasis.
Ever Oasis, that's it. Ever Oasis. It came to me after, just as you were getting ready to say it. But that game was its own, they did their own game with it, they did and then they went back into this one. They're a good team that when it comes to remaking Zelda games. They do a great job. So I wouldn't mind seeing them go off and remake some other stuff. And then, you know, but I think we're going to get Breath of the Wild 2, and then we're going to get another top-down. I'm enjoying what they're doing. We're getting Zelda games like almost every couple of years, different styles. Like I am, as I'm playing this, I'm like, oh my god, I'm playing my second Zelda game on the Switch. This is fantastic. Like if we got a new Zelda game or whatever remasters every couple of years, I'm okay with that, man.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that because we need. Like I love Zelda. I love the franchise. I like the series.
Yeah.
More and more and more doesn't hurt me, man. I love it because it felt like it was a nice little break. I'm ready to go back and play as Link, and this is just perfect. This is a great thing, man. So, real quick before we wrap, are you playing anything other than Zelda at this moment, or is that the only thing you're playing?
Just a bit of Mario Maker.
Okay.
Yeah.
I jumped back into Fortnite yesterday because they actually have Batman stuff in there.
Oh, cool.
So I bought the Batman skins. I bought the Catwoman skins. There's like pickaxes for Catwoman and Batman. There's new gliders for Batman and Catwoman and all that stuff. Really cool. Where Tilted is is actually Gotham City right now.
Oh, wicked.
So you go in and all the buildings are there and you can glide.
Yeah.
So you can jump off the buildings and glide like Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's pretty awesome. It was pretty
Yeah.
last night I was playing and I went in there and literally I had this unbelievable run where I just ripped 4 people within like a couple seconds. Like these guys are coming at me, they're jumping, they're shooting, and I'm just like moving around the cars, and then like bang, face shot, dead. They come around next one, face shot, dead. I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. So good stuff.
Right. Just to end off the podcast, I ended up in a YouTube rabbit hole the other day. Right?
Oh boy.
And I think I started off looking at Choo Choo Rocket on mobile on the Apple service.
Okay.
Because I was like, I love Choo Choo Rocket. And I saw someone posted a screenshot of this like Choo Choo Rocket in space, and I was like, what the hell is this? So I Googled it. Anyway, watching this footage, and then next recommended video was some random crappy game. Right, looks like some like it was made in Paint or something on the PC, and it's a mobile game. It's a generic platformer with these little tomato creatures, right? Anyway, this is like a walkthrough of one of the levels.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a real terrible looking game. But it had something ridiculous, like 15 million views, right? So I'm like, hang on a minute, what is going on here? So I click on the channel, it's a gameplay channel, right? They've got all these guides of this tomato game or whatever it is, bunch of other nonsense games, just phone games designed for children, right? And each of these videos has got millions and millions of views, and it made me think, what are these children growing up playing, right? We grew up playing games on the NES and the SNES and the N64. We played good games, right?
Yeah.
But kids these days play on phones and tablets, and they're playing these rubbish iPad games, and they're looking up walkthroughs on YouTube. Like, there must be so many children watching this video. 15 million views, Bobby.
It's a lot.
And I was like, it's all over. Gaming is over. Like, if kids are like playing this instead of Link's Awakening on Switch, like
Sadly, that's where we are today.
it just upset me, man. Yeah. I was like,
no. So that is all. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Nintendo Talk. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, share, all that good stuff. Whatever you can do, we appreciate the support. Follow Toby over on Twitter's at Toby's_take. You can follow me at Nintendo Gurus. Be sure, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live, me with Patrick and Nintendo Talk. Come check that out. Please support us over there as well. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Grezzo, fix the frame rate, or else. That is all.
Don't ever say that is all again.
That is all.
Did you have a topic for today?
No, I thought your topics were good.
What the hell, Toby? I said this was not. I said your topic as well.
I still want you to give a topic, but here are two I have so far.
Yeah, that's what I said, right?
We normally have two topics, so I thought I don't need to give a topic.
No, a topic for me, a topic for you. I don't know how long these topics are going to take.
Oh, I like that setup, Bobby. That looks real good.
Nice overlay, right?
Yeah, it's way better.
Yeah, man. I like it, and I'll change it week to week because I'm doing Nintendo Talk Live now.
Yeah,
on Wednesdays, right? So it's kind of like because I'm doing the actual extra episode, it just helps me out to do, whatever. So all right, let's. Oh my God, you're ridiculous.
What?
Stop yawning, man.
I can't help it, man.
Crap. What the hell's going on over here? Okay. Let's see. We're at episode 103 now. Okay. I need my glasses.
Yeah, can't do it without your glasses, man.
Hold on. This might become difficult. Because last episode I had to take them off because the headphones were like...
Oh, yeah.
We're squishing them down.
Yeah.
Actually, that's actually better. I moved them down a little bit on my ear, so it might not hurt as bad. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Ready? No. Okay, then. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode 103 of Nintendo Talk. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the greatest... Oh, my God.
No, I'm not, Bobby.
Oh, I messed up.
All wrong.
I messed up. Okay, here we go. Man, I had a good little flow going there, too. Here we go. Sorry, Toby. My bad. Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode 103 of Nintendo Talk. I am